guys.
No, wait.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Unfortunately, my dad and mom are not here, so you'll just have to talk to me. I'll read comments if you want to post them up there, but yeah, I'm not too sure about RVs like my dad is.
I'll tell you what we'll do is we're going to
So
come
I'm
in.
glad he's back.
We thought we'd go ahead and give Jamie the limelight for a few there. So thank you, Jamie, for introducing us and bringing us on the show here this evening. We've got 1,200 people in the viewing us. See right up here, it shows you 1,200 people. If you all will announce yourself, I know that's going to be one heck of a scroll there. 1,200 people, Jamie, all because of this one here. Jamie, the Air Force guy's daughter. That's who it is. Oh, I'm just going to edit that real quick. Let's do it this way. Hold on. Just give me a second here. There we go. Okay, we're good to go. We're back in. Uh-oh, I got it backwards. Whatever. Anyway, so I say, hey, welcome to this evening. I tell you, I was kind of kicking around, figuring out what we could talk about here this evening, and then it dawned on me. You know, we're coming into spring. What better to talk about than epic RV winter camping failures, right? I mean, this way here next year, for those of you that might be living in a camper, maybe you will not run into the same problems. But before we do that, I just want to go over a few housekeeping things here first. Number one, Jamie, what was this last weekend? Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you did this last weekend?
I celebrated my birthday.
It was her 28th, right?
29th.
29th. It is not. It was her 24th birthday. And so she partied. She partied like it was 1989. Is that what it was?
1999.
Whatever song it is. Yeah, one of those things. So, but anyway, so I was really worried about her being able to make it on the show here this evening. But she got her afternoon nap in, and here she is. Right?
I didn't get the chance really to nap, but here I am.
Here she is, all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. So, but anyway, next I want to talk about, oh, by the way, we postponed getting our camper, right, Maury?
Yes, we did.
Till next week. But that's okay. Don't worry about that. What we're going to be doing here this evening, I want to go ahead and talk about first thing is, let me share something here. Let me see, screen. Something I did today, which I tell you what, it warms my heart when I do this. And this is a family. I delivered a camper to their home. This is a Make-A-Wish family. And their 7-year-old son, who's the Make-A-Wish recipient, was not there. But I was able to show them Make-A-Wish Mid-Atlantic bought them a camper. And I had the honor of bringing that to them and showing them how everything worked. So I'll tell you, I really enjoy doing that. And it really does warm my heart when we're able to do that. And I'll have somebody else later this month that next month that'll be picking up a camper as well. Let's see who all is in the house here this evening. We've got RV Kids TV from down there in Florida. Hey, I wish we were down there with you. Vincent Kennedy, good evening, sir. Glad you made it here. We've got the Bamster here and Kent. Love it. Appreciate you joining us. By the way, Kent and Bamster, did you guys get signed up for that Grand Design Rally? Oh, that's right. No, you guys are going. I get confused. You guys are going to the one down there down in Bethpage. Sorry about that. Wayfaring with the Leases. They're here. That's Landon and Meredith. Good to see you guys in the house. Maureen, who else do we have?
Lee Coleman?
Where's Lee from, Maureen?
Really don't know.
His mother.
Okay.
If you don't know, you can always say that. You'll be right. Chuck Ash down there on the Eastern Shore. Hey, Jamie, they wanted to say hello to you guys.
Hello.
Who else do we have, Maureen?
Weekend RVing.
And of course, they said happy birthday to you.
And so did Weekend RVing.
So did Weekend RVing said happy
Thank you
birthday.
both.
New Horizons. Go ahead, Maureen. You can introduce a few here.
Landon also says happy birthday to you, Jamie.
Thank you.
Colleen D. Ryan Rollins.
And guess what? They're going to be on here in a little bit.
Oh. Yeah.
We both do. All three of us have our shirts on.
How about that, huh? Let's see who else we have here. Oh yeah, so that's they're letting you know that they're both here. And look who else we have in the house here, Maureen.
Hi, Terry.
Thank you.
Uh-oh.
And Scott.
Scooter Libby from Beckley's RV is in the house. Roberto Medina from down there in sunny Florida. He was just out at a baseball game. How I wish we could have said the same thing here. And lastly, look who is in the
Hi.
house. Hopefully she saw your intro. But anyway, without further...
somebody.
Oh, did I miss somebody?
Joey's in here.
Uh-oh, did I miss somebody?
He was.
Oh, we had Brian Matthews up there in PA. Did I miss somebody?
Right.
Oh, there it is. Look who's here, Jay.
Joey.
We didn't forget about you, Joey. We left you for last
Because I ran right past you. All these people signing in, I scrolled right past. Did I think I missed somebody else in here too. Yes, we did. Stephen Weber from Charlotte. Well, I'll tell you what. Hope you all are enjoying the weather. So we got a great show on here this evening. But before we get started, Maureen wanted to say a few words.
Really?
About your cooking show that you're going to start here pretty soon.
Yeah, it's not going too good.
And then Jamie decided you're going to start your own YouTube channel and you're going to do lives up against the same time I'm going to be on, right?
Oh, I am?
Yeah.
Sure.
She doesn't know what she's going to talk about yet, but this could be something. So anyway,
We'll figure it out.
She's going to learn. She's going to talk about how she's learning to pull a camper.
there you go. We're going to teach her all that stuff. But anyway, without further ado, let me go ahead. I've got 4 great guests I'm bringing on here this evening. And I'll tell you what, they lived through the epic RV camping failures this last few weeks. And the reason why I thought I'd bring them on here this evening is so that you can learn from their situation. So hopefully maybe next year you don't have that same issue. So, but let's see. First of all, I want to go ahead and introduce to you. This is uh-oh, they're muted. You guys are muted.
Hold on.
There we,
There we are.
there we are. See, that's how to do it, right?
Hi,
I'll tell
welcome
you-
to our show.
Well, you know, and I tell you what, I enjoyed having you guys on earlier. We were testing things. You wouldn't believe how well they can go ahead and sit still and talk at the same time. You never see them move. It's amazing.
Dude, you have no idea. We have learned the statue technique almost to the point where we are masters.
Yes.
Well, you mastered it earlier, that's for sure. And next we have
Come here.
Weekend RVing in the house. You guys are muted as well. And that is James and Millie. And now you guys are in Oklahoma, right?
Yes, we're in Oklahoma.
And Payne, you guys are in Leavenworth, Kansas?
Yep.
Yes.
Are you inside the walls there at Leavenworth? How long are you guys doing a stint there?
We're doing a nickel. We're doing a nickel for we undisclosed things that we will not talk about.
Okay.
What in the world?
Well, she doesn't know what we're talking about, does she, Kyle?
No.
I didn't until it dawned on me. Leavenworth.
Leavenworth doing a
Leavenworth.
nickel.
Anyway, so you guys had some issues this winter, didn't you? Or the
Yes.
last few weeks. And I think
I think all of us. I doubt Millie and James were expecting that brutal weather down there like we got. And yeah, I don't think that even as much as you think you've prepped and prepared for it, that was just unreal.
Yeah.
And what did you guys do? Or why don't we start with you, Kyle? Why don't you tell us a little bit about what happened to you guys?
Wait, which part?
Yeah, yeah, it really depends on which part we're going to talk about. But you know, you try to prepare. You know that you're going to have a decent winter, and you try to watch the people that have done it before, and so we decided to go with the foam board rather than just the little skirting that they talk about. And
Well, because we knew we would
Yeah.
be stationary through the winter.
Right. We knew that we'd be stationary for like 3 or 4 months. So we went ahead and got the foam board. And it did pretty good for the, and even down to like 25 degrees, we were still holding 40 underneath the RV without anything underneath there. And then
take a step back. We did the foam board, but before you got done, and this is an ongoing joke in those that watch our videos, it took us 3 weeks to put the foam board up. So in the midst of getting the foam board done, we had some frozen pipes.
Yeah, the
water faucet.
I didn't prepare very good for the inlet valve on the outside of the RV. So even though I had a heated water hose, the filter and the inlet and all that stuff had frozen. So that's where it started. And then we went from there. When the temperature started dropping, there was just no coming back from it. And from there, it went to the gray tank hose freezing, the black tank freezing, the dump hose off of the black tank freezing, and it was just one thing after the refrigerator stopped working. It froze up. I mean, it was just one thing after another, and you're at that point wondering what was I thinking, and why am I not like in Florida with everybody else?
Yeah. Well, that's what we came back from Florida, and so we're going to come back to you on that also, Kyle, Ryan, on what you guys did to resolve that. James and Millie, what did you guys? Here's the difference, folks. The reason why I chose the two different couples here is one's in a travel trailer, stick and tin, and the other is in a fifth wheel that is, quote, 4 seasons, right, James and Millie?
Yeah.
Correct.
So, tell us what kind of issues, James and Millie, did you guys have? And you guys were in Oklahoma, right?
So we just got back on our journey from Arizona, and we went through Texas and through San Antonio. And we got up here, and we had good weather the whole time. And when we got up here, we got a temporary camping spot. The RV place is where we stayed before, and they put us in between campers on grass, okay? So we were only there for like a temporary spot. And then the week hit, and we went from a wind chill at -32. It was like -14 temperature. All I had was a heated hose. The first thing that froze up was my gray tank and my black tanks.
That's like on the 3rd day.
Yeah,
like
they froze up.
We can't flush it.
We couldn't flush it
the day before they supposedly get below freezing, but like on the 2nd or 3rd day, we was gonna flush it again because we know we still have about 2 weeks of this crazy weather, and then we couldn't flush it anymore. That's when we started freaking out.
Yeah. So, but we have a heated underbelly, okay, and it is forced air heated, where the heat in the air as long as you keep the camper at a certain degree, it actually keeps the underbelly at that temperature too.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't tell you that they run water lines outside through the slide.
So we didn't.
So
see
it freezes through there for some reason. A very poor design. Yeah, and it froze there and froze up my water.
Water that's going in
to the refrigerator.
Yes.
So the water froze up, and
they're catching up to you, Kyle.
Yeah. Well,
I worked. I had to work, so Millie went to her mom's because I could use the bathroom at work and stuff.
Yeah.
And our tanks are good enough. I was flushing the toilet with antifreeze, hoping that something would happen.
Yeah.
And every day I'd go and try to tug, and nothing would open.
Yeah.
And then they were cycling power, where they would shut power off because they were using power. But the good thing is when we were in courtside, I got solar, so I was pretty good with that one. It's just the water thing, but they were doing that also. But anyways, at the very end of it, when we de-thawed, I came home from work and I heard water spraying. And I'm like, where the hell's that coming from? And it's spraying from under my camper and over to the neighbor because they sandwiched us in, right? And it's spraying over there. And I go under there, a hose. It looked like an electrical hose, but it wasn't. It was a water line that broke. So I shut it and I put a screw in the water line, turned it up, and it worked fine. It was a little valve.
Yeah, we don't use that one anyways.
Everything thawed. It's 70 degrees here today. A week later, and we have one broken problem.
Yeah, so we made it.
So that was easy. So now Kyle, I want to get back to you. said something about your refrigerator stopped working.
We're not even kidding. Like,
yeah,
we were on the phone with RV Kids TV for 2 hours one night, and then another 3 hours the next day trying to figure out what to do. But the propane in the refrigerator froze.
Oh wow!
Yeah, all the lines that run to circulate up the back of the refrigerator, because we have a two-way refrigerator, and all that just froze up underneath there because it was just an open, the vent on the outside of your RV, so that's just an open venting system. And yeah, I came home and I went to get something out of the freezer and literally everything was warm.
Wow.
And so I was like freaking out. Now, lucky enough, like James and Millie, it was below zero, so we were able to put everything in a tub
outside
and set it outside. Yeah, and keep that stuff frozen. But thankfully I had a little tiny mini fridge that I kept in the garage for just bottles of water, and luckily we were able to move a few things we had in there, but we ended up losing part of our groceries because we just didn't have the room for it. A little bit. Yeah, not very much. So we can't put very much in there anyways, but
right.
But yeah, it was my common sense brain took over and said, well, it needs warmth. So I built this kind of cocoon around the venting system with some of the polyboard I had left over, but leaving the bottom open. And then I hung a little work light in there that had like a 60-watt bulb, and just hoping that somehow it would produce enough warmth that maybe it would kick back on. And sure enough, the first day that we had probably 25-degree weather, I came home. I put one of my little thermostat sensors in there just to keep track.
We don't know if he's ready for our fixes yet because we have.
Oh, do you still just want the broken stuff?
Well, let's talk about we'll finish up with the refrigerator, then we'll go with the rest.
But yeah, I hung that up. I put a thermostat sensor in there, and I watched it. And then I just kind of walked by, going back out to the garage, and I noticed that the panel read 35 degrees in there, and they had read 60. Like 58, 60 degrees for like 4 days.
Wow.
And so yeah, that little tiny, just keeping the cold air off directly hitting it and hanging that light there just changed the whole, I guess, the kind of the atmosphere in that little area and produced enough warmth to unthaw everything, and the refrigerator is working fine now.
Tell them what I told you though when it started working. I said, don't tell nobody.
Don't tell anybody because we're not sure. This might be a false positive, so we don't want.
Might be a fluke.
It might be a fluke, but yeah, it's been working great. It's been working great since. So
what other problems do you have? I know you want your sewer.
Yeah, like James said, our black tank and the gray tank froze up. I went out there to try to dump it, thinking the same thing like you guys, that I would do it before the really bad stuff hit, and it was already too late. It gave me the finger.
We do not have a heated underbelly.
Yeah, and we are not fancy and have a heated underbelly. And honestly, I really thought that the tanks had a cover on them. So I really didn't worry too much until I got down there and really looked and realized, no, they're just open underneath there. And even though I built this cocoon around the whole belly of it, it was just awful cold.
When
it was
it's
just
-10 and the wind chill is -35.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's really nothing to get around. So I ended up, the first time I had my heater buddy, so I sat underneath there for probably an hour running that heater buddy to unthaw enough stuff to drain it. And then at that time, she was running hot water, the hot water that we had down there, in hopes that it would thaw out. So that was the first time. And then the second time when it froze up, I went and did like James did and got the antifreeze. I bought a floor heater. I bought an infrared floor heater and just set that underneath there. My biggest fear with getting that stuff was the like drawing too much power off the pedestal. Because a lot of RV parks, they talk about how much you can draw off of it. And at the one that we're at, they already replaced 3 pedestals out here because people were running their heaters in their RV.
But they were running them in.
So I ran a separate line off the 210
Right.
to it, so it wouldn't draw directly from the 30 amp that we use. And I left it underneath there, and literally it went from 19 degrees up to 27 within an hour. And I would guess probably about by morning I was able to dump the tanks because it had raised the temperature up to almost 38 degrees.
Yeah. So one thing you could do, if you have of course it'll be a little bit different for you, but if you have an enclosed underbelly where your tanks dump, and if you have your underbelly contained, surrounded, you could just put a 100-watt light bulb. Just put a light down there. That will give off enough heat over time, assuming you have it skirted.
Yeah, and I tried the 60-watt. People always talked about that. And
well, for yours it wouldn't.
The underbelly of our RV laughed at that. It was like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Yeah, that's because yours wasn't enclosed, right?
The underbelly is not enclosed, but I don't have a skirting, but I built the polyboards, wall around the whole RV to try to keep out as much as I can. And still, I mean, James could contest to it, man. Once you get below 0, there's just nothing can stop it, man.
It got too cold. There was really nothing you can do but just wait till it cooled.
It got too cold for too long.
Right.
Well, Maureen and Jamie are really curious about now going camping in that kind of weather.
No.
I tell you, look, if you don't do a trial by fire like we did, because I mean, this was your first time out full timing, right, James? Like this?
Yeah, it was in this temperature. It didn't get this cold when we were here last time.
Yeah. Tell me that wasn't the biggest trial by fire that you'd ever been setting. Good
Lord. Here we go.
Right.
It was cold. One thing that I learned is I keep 1 propane turned on, 2 propane tanks ready to go just in case.
Yeah, and we were going through 1 per day. And sometimes it quits on us at like 3 a.m. or 4 a.m.
And I have to run outside and turn another 30
gallons.
Oh, yeah. No, we learned.
Every day he was going to the propane to fill up 1.
Yeah, we had 1, and I always have a spare, like you said. But I went to hook it up and noticed it was empty. It actually had a leak in it, and it leaked all out. But lucky enough, we had a 125-gallon tank delivered by the local co-op that same day. So that's the only thing, in all truth and honesty, that's really saved us through this is that big tank. I mean, we've been eating through it. Don't get me wrong, because we just went through 80 gallons. They just filled it up.
Again, it was negative 35.
Right.
So
we went through 80 gallons in 2 weeks. And
wow.
I mean, that's just.
Yeah, we got so worried, and it got so cold, worried because of, everything freezing, that we actually sent the puppy to go stay with our daughter.
Right.
Because, I mean, he's tiny. So
yeah, we gotta
to make sure he was gonna be okay.
Yeah, we got a little cave built for him under the dinette, but it was just, I mean, the floor was cold to walk on, and our doors were freezing shut. That was the other thing, is that we'd get up, I'd go outside to start the truck, and our door would be frozen shut.
Yeah. So our heated underbelly, right? It's heated, but it's forced air. Like the Arctic ones have like pads on the tanks and stuff.
Right.
Them are the real ones.
We will get pads.
But ours is so the cold air coming from the underneath up through that big vent. It felt like an air conditioner coming in underneath the stairs. That's where the vent is, where it pushes the air from here down.
Cycles.
So it was actually working the other way. It was actually cold air coming up. It was like, oh my goodness. But you couldn't block it because you needed heat to go down there.
Right.
Right
Yeah.
now. So now, just so everybody knows, Kyle, K&R Destinations, they have a Coleman lantern, right?
Yeah. Coleman Lantern 300 TQ.
And then James and Millie, Weekend RVing, they have it Big Country, fifth wheel.
Big country.
So everybody put it. Now, James, I want to go ahead and save you because you said something about leaving one tank open and closing the other.
Yes.
Okay, that's what a lot of people do. But you're having what you had happen is exactly why I explained to people you have automatic switchover, and as long as you're checking your tanks on a regular basis, at 3 a.m. you're never going out there to change tanks.
Yeah.
Well, all you got to do.
Fear was both tanks being empty. At
They
3
won't.
in the
They
morning.
won't. They won't.
Oh,
Because
really?
what happened? Yes, what happens is LP when you have two bottles with automatic switchover, and this goes for you, Kyle, too. Maybe you already know this, though. Whatever tank you open first is the tank it draws from first, not the tank that thing's pointing at.
Okay.
So what you do is the tank it's pointing to, that's the tank you want to open first. Okay?
Okay.
Then open the other tank. Now what you do is the tank that it's pointing to, you check that on a daily basis. Once it's red, flip that lever back over to the other tank, then you can disconnect that tank, put it back on, and it'll just keep going back and forth. So you don't have to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to do what you had to do.
Yeah. And if we ever have to deal with this kind of weather next time around, my dad's giving us like 100-pound.
If we have to do it again, we're gonna hook up to the camper and move south. We're on wheels. Why didn't we just move south?
Well, yeah, I'd say we'll meet you in Oklahoma and we'll just caravan way as far south as we go.
Yep.
I just got to go ahead and put up this. This is Maureen's sister. Carol Ann's in the house.
Hi, Carol Ann.
So anyway, but yeah, so pretty interesting. So I think from this, I think Maureen's the only thing Maureen's interested in doing is maybe camping in maybe the fall and the spring when it's chilly out.
What about the
Yeah,
summer?
we moved in November. I mean, that's when we made the leap, knowing that winter was coming. And I mean, it was beautiful for a while, man. It was absolutely beautiful out here. And we have, in the years past, and I'm sure James and Millie can confirm, is that we've had really mild winters
In the Midwest.
Yeah.
in the Midwest. They haven't been that bad. So we thought, it won't be that bad. Well,
No, you thought that.
okay. Well, so it's
Yeah.
one-sided.
Sometimes we only have like 3 days of snow and then that's it. Not
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
weeks.
Maybe some colder temperatures, but never anything like this. We haven't seen in 20 years, it seems like.
Oh no, we were actually lucky because a lot of my neighbors, they would have like skirting of icicles around the front of their camper.
Mm-hmm.
You drive by and you just felt so bad for them. And I called the owner and like, hey, you might get a hold of them people, because a lot of people who full-time RV here in the central United States are oil field workers,
Oh yeah.
and they live in it. And they work all the time.
Yeah, they barely come
And
home.
it would be bad to come home to a flood like that, you
Right.
know?
That'd
Well,
be horrible.
Yeah, that first freeze that we got up here, there was an RV like 5 spots down from us. When I left in the morning, there was nothing but a huge sheet of ice
Oh yeah.
coming across the road.
Busted or
Yeah,
something.
his hose had busted, and he
Man.
wasn't even there.
Kind of like yours, James.
Yeah, kind of like yours.
Spraying
Except,
the
Yeah.
other RVs.
yeah,
Yeah.
but he wasn't even home. I shot a text to the owners and said, I don't know what you guys need to do, but this is not good.
No doubt about that. Well, so proceeding onward in America, POA vlog asked, what's a good way to check the tanks? I'm assuming he's talking about checking to see how much LP's in them. The best way to do it is if you just start off, make sure you're starting off full tanks and just open one of your tanks. And once it's empty, it's going to show red. So just go get that one full, but switch it over to the other tank, because that way there you always have a full backup. So it's not necessarily how much is in the tank. you have a full backup, then you're going to be good. Even if you're having to go fill them, like I think, James, you guys are saying you were filling them up every day?
Yeah, and it wasn't all the way full, but if before I'd go to work, I would take the half full one, whatever, and take it over there and get it filled with propane, put the full one on. So I always knew I had 2 full ones on
Yeah,
there.
they have 230 and 140 gallon and 120 gallon.
I never ran out, never got below half, maybe. Well, after I learned my lesson from the very
Right.
start.
Well, I take mine off and I hold it above my head and shake it vigorously. And as long as my back wasn't thrown out, I knew it was empty.
He's joking.
There you go. Well,
He's joking.
No, I wish I was. That's how I checked it, because I would shake it so violently that if I heard anything, okay, I'm still good to go. And I put it back and hook everything back up. But if I didn't hear anything, then I threw it in the truck and took it to work with me and had it filled up.
Well, you see that my solution to all this, as you can see my background behind us here, that's my camping spot for Maureen and I next year on the beach, where it's
Wow.
warm weather, so I don't have to worry about this. Might have to turn the air conditioner on.
Yeah, 2.5 weeks. That's where we're going to be, down in Galveston.
Oh, there you go. So now back to you, James and Millie. So now I want you to explain to people, because I think this is important that most people don't realize. There's something, because you have a residential refrigerator, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
And so, but you have an ice maker in it, right?
Yeah, and that was the problem. Was the ice maker? Okay, the residential fridge is on a slide that moves in and out. So underneath the slide, you have all these hoses and electrical wires wrapped in like a conduit.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is a water hose wrapped in conduit. You look down there, you would never know.
Yeah.
That's what broke, is because of that. I went to a place today where I bought my camper. It starts with the CW, and told them the valve. I showed them the valve, and I'm like, I need this valve, okay?
Yeah.
And it's just that Plex, and it's a 1/4-inch hose, right? A little valve, and all it is turn it off. And he had no clue.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like,
I don't believe that. Those guys know everything over there.
I'm going to call and get a part order number for him, so he can order my part for me.
Geez, you probably could have went to Lowe's and got it.
I know. I probably should have.
Go to a
He
plumbing
didn't
house.
order it. He didn't know.
Yeah, you go to a plumbing house. They'll know what you got.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah, shoot me a picture. I mean, I work at Lowe's. Shoot me a picture,
Okay.
James. I'll probably find you one and just ship one to you.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, so
Yeah.
now I've got this guy doesn't. He's not following the reason why for not turning one tank off. The reason for that is what James explained. He had one on and one off, and then at 3 o'clock in the morning, because when your heat goes off because you ran out of propane, guess what you're doing? Now you're gonna go shut your furnace off. You go out, you go ahead and turn your propane tank, the other one on. Then you got to come back in. You got to light your 3 burners in your cooktop to make sure that you get the LP in the lines. Then turn your furnace back on. Who wants to do that at 3 o'clock in the morning? Obviously, James did, because he loved his dear wife so much.
Oh, I have a story about that too.
I was saying, I think Millie had him. He had her hands around his throat, telling him, if he don't do that now.
But
So,
go ahead.
When your furnace goes off, okay, at that early in the morning, the first thing you do is turn on your stove, and your stove will work because there's propane in that line.
Yep.
And it turned on. So I'm like thinking my heater's broke. Okay, I sat there and turned it on and off forever. Go back to the stove. It turns on. I'm like, what the heck's the deal? But it was so cold that when it was on, it would like freeze the propane. So I would have to go and turn it off, switch it to the other one, but there would be still propane in that tank.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep,
because it was
a little bit.
cold.
So,
Well,
but
again, hot flushes, so I didn't. I appreciate the cold, but James like it's so cold in here, and I'm just like, is it? It is. I'm staying in the
Underneath the
blanket.
blanket. I don't
Yeah,
know nothing.
she's got 4 layers laying underneath the blanket, and I'm over here, you know, in my skivvies going, God, I'm so hot.
So you're going to answer, Scott. He
yeah.
said,
So anyway, so understand that you're not going to run out of both tanks is because if you're in that situation, you're checking that lever every day. So once it goes red, you're switching it over. It's already drawing from the other tank, but that way there, now you know you better get that tank filled and put it back on. That is how you're never going to run out of propane. Does that make sense? You guys understand what I'm saying?
I actually never knew that. I thought you had to do like James did. You know, you point the arrow towards it, and then once that's done, then you flip it and turn the other one on. I did not know that that's like an automatic dooflachi that will do it for you.
Right. Now, here's the problem with that, though. So let's say you have it pointing to the tank on the left, right? You just filled your tanks and put them on there. If you open your tank on the right, so it's not the one it's pointing to, that's the tank it's pulling from. Now you open the one on the left, and you think it's pulling from that, but now that's where you run into an issue. And that's why you always open the tank it's pointing to. Because if you open the other tank, now it pulls from that tank. You never know when that goes empty. It's going to switch over to the other tank. Now, when that tank's empty, you got 2 empty tanks.
That makes sense.
If you do it properly, you'll never run out of propane. So, James, let me ask you a question. Are you of the mindset now that you still want to get up at 3 a.m. or do you want to go ahead and keep both tanks open now?
I'll probably keep both tanks open and a full one ready just in case.
There you go.
He's putting a tri-junction in that to have them all open and ready to go.
There you go. So now, James, not James, I'm sorry, Kyle. So what else? What other problems you had? You had a frozen door. You had a refrigerator that didn't work. You had the tanks down below. What else?
So there for a minute, we tried to keep the one of the window open just so we could have like sunlight in. Not open, but like uncovered because we wanted some sunlight in, and I didn't want to turn this thing into the bat cave. To where you're just living in a dungeon because Ryan works from home, so I didn't want to have to sit here in the dark and ambient light all day long. So we kept that open, but then we came home and it looked like a giant sheet of ice.
Well, the ice was on the window, on the door.
Yeah, it just looked like a giant sheet of ice across that whole window.
So we actually put this stuff on all of the windows.
Yeah, it's an R15 Reflectix. So I put them all over all the windows, including the 2 in the garage, which honestly, I'll probably keep the ones on the garage just to keep the heat out in the summertime. But this stuff has been a lifesaver as far as helping keep the inside warmer. So you're not getting that cold air coming in through those windows, because one time we were sitting here and literally we could feel it so much that it was actually our food was getting cold because it was coming in. It was coming in bad. And I was like, we can't do this. This is
so that's a little extreme.
No,
but
it's not.
It was letting in some cold.
So anyway, so what Kyle, what's the one best advice you would give to somebody that's living out of their RV to keep them from having the problems that you had this season?
Just do your, the heater underneath
right,
the RV
do your
ahead of time.
Right, do your due diligence and the research. Especially wherever you are, where you're going to be camping at. If you are expecting some seriously cold weather, the skirting is great. Don't get me wrong. If you're just going to be like part-time here or part-time there, so you can pack it up and go. But if you're going to be stationary, the poly board, I think, was a huge game changer. I did the 1.5 inch all the way around. The 1 inch probably could have been just as good, but I wanted to play it safe. And then a heater. If you don't, even if you've got underbelly heating like James has, I would still recommend a floor heater, like I got that, like I said, I got that infrared floor heater down there, fairly big one. I didn't get like a real small one, mainly because they were all gone and this was all that was left. But the one I got did a bang up job and just kept it, even when it hit -30, it was still like 40 degrees underneath the RV.
The other
Awesome.
thing is we're gonna put the polyboard on the slide.
She's thinking about the next time that I'm gonna take the polyboard all the way up the slide and just cover the whole slide with it rather than what we have now. But that's just a huge game changer. Or just those, I think with those like minor changes for next year, we won't run into any of the problems that we ran into this year.
And don't take 3 weeks to put up your
Oh God, Lord.
don't take 3 weeks to put up your winterizing.
Yeah, we got
Ryan,
look, you know what? When you got like ADD, you get distracted really easily. So I'd be outside, my neighbor would come around. We've got Blackhawk pilots and Apache pilots that are staying around us and going to school up here at the fort, and they come around, they start talking about stuff. I'm so easily distracted.
Anyone that thinks I'm kidding can watch our winterizing video and see how many different outfits Kyle has on. That's all I'm gonna say, and I will leave it there.
Well, I'm pretty surprised here this evening, Kyle and Ryan, because Ryan, I've not seen any tiny hands.
Right.
Oh, I got him right here.
There you go.
I told her, I was like, I'm going to have him here. And she goes, no, we're being interviewed. Don't. I was like, but I have them, though. I have to. I can't. You can't without them. Yes.
And then Ryan, I'm a little disappointed in you as well.
No.
Why's that?
No.
I haven't seen any wet willies tonight.
That's
Don't worry, the night's still young.
So now, James and Millie.
Oh, come on.
James and Millie. So now, what would you guys say to somebody that's staying in a quote a 4-season? Because you guys have a 4-season camper, right?
Yeah, 4 seasons don't mean too much really in that cold of weather. So you got to be prepared. The antifreeze in the tanks, dump beforehand and get ready, because you can hold a lot of water and a lot of stuff, and just get ready for it and just do it. It's 2 weeks or a week out of the year, and then you got 52 weeks of better weeks than ever living in a house, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Amen.
It wasn't too terrible.
So I love it.
Yeah, it wasn't too terrible. We just decided that it's better for me to be staying at my mom's while James is working like 11, 12 hours a day. And I use the number 1 a lot. So I was just worried that we still have like 11 more days of cold temperature and we're not able to flush anymore. So James like, you want to go to your mom? And I brought all my 4 dogs with me.
Yeah.
Yes,
You have 4 dogs?
Yep, I have 2 of this furry one, a weenie dog, and a rat terrier chihuahua.
Wow. I thought we were bad. We have 3.
They're
I think-
tiny.
To add on to James's comment about the antifreeze, I said the only thing that you have to get past is I don't know about you guys, but like after a while, the smell of antifreeze was coming up and was actually extremely pungent. So a lot of times you might have to keep the bathroom closed and with the vent running, just for that purposes. But I would rather suffer through that than lay underneath the RV for an hour trying to unthaw the tank again.
Well, there is a solution to that, don't you know?
Yes, I know.
Somebody told me use windshield washing fluid. That won't smell like the antifreeze.
That's true. The below freezing stuff.
Yeah.
Huh.
Somebody mentioned that to me. I was like, damn it, why the hell didn't I think of that?
That's you would think that because I just put that in all the cars. That's like flipping genius. And it doesn't smell like friggin'
antifreeze.
Oh my God, that stuff is pungent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rotten broccoli.
Well, we're gonna Kyle, we're going to expect to hear back from you on how well windshield washer fluid works and
Next year.
And how the pungent smell is going.
Next year, that's definitely we can't wait for next year just simply because of everything we've learned this year, and that we can put that into effect next year. And also, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a electrical cord with a on and off switch too. Because otherwise, it would just go underneath the RV and plugging it in, taking it off, or turning it on and off. And I don't know if you noticed how big that hole is that I created to get underneath the RV, but it is not pleasant for a big dude like me trying to squeeze underneath there.
Well, I think you just get one of those, you just got to go ahead and make it like a concrete pad, and you get on one of those crawlers, and then, you can have Ryan push you under.
Right?
Oh, I will push you under.
Just hook a rope to my foot so she can pull me back.
Nah, it's okay.
Throw
I'll
you
just
under
push
there.
you under.
Now, I had somebody ask me about my manual. So back in 2005, I put together RV use and maintenance manual. Spent a year putting that together. I've updated 18 times. It is available on Amazon as a book, but I give a copy of that to every one of my customers. The one I give to my customers is a little bit more detailed than the one that's online that's on purpose. But anyway, just wanted to answer that question.
Nice.
So, but now, James, also with you guys, something you might want to consider if you have a residential refrigerator.
Words are hard.
With the ice maker, is that when do you guys use your ice maker at all?
No, we never use that thing.
Yeah.
So what you may want to consider doing is winterize that line so that that's winterized, because then the antifreeze will just stay in that line.
Yeah.
That too. And then
the other thing too is get one of the maintenance techs to put a shut off, winterize it, and then put a shut off down below where it's coming out from the underbelly. So nothing will go up there anyway.
Right. That's what I'm doing. When I replace that valve, it's going to be a turn valve, so I can actually plug it off so I don't have any water going up in there, and just make it dry,
And we can put Reflectix and duct tape on it too.
Well, yeah, because you can get a valve like that with some shark bites on each end.
Yeah.
And is it your basic water line? That little plastic? Is it that little tiny just water line?
Yep. Like the 1/4-inch Plex.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dude, I'll look. For real, I'll look tomorrow.
Okay.
And see if I can find one with a valve, and I'll shoot you a couple of pictures.
Okay.
You let me know if that would work, and I'll just send it to you.
Well, if you can get it, we have a Lowe's right there. So just tell me if they have it, an item number or something. I can go get it.
That I can do.
Yeah,
I'll shoot some pictures of item numbers.
Awesome.
Yeah, Millie's big on the Reflectix and tape. We went out there and taped up our whole sewer hose and everything with Reflectix, and
not the stinky slinky, but
before it. Yeah.
Yeah, this stuff has been, because this is the R15 that you can get at Lowe's, and it has turned the whole inside into a game changer. Yeah, exactly.
All over the place in here.
It comes handy.
So yeah, between that and then on the colder days to try to give the furnace a break, I've got that heater buddy.
Yeah, Mr. Heater.
Mr. Heater Buddy that's a game changer. And if anybody has,
I love that.
Right. And everything they say about it is perfect. And if you guys get your hands on one, do it, because that thing, it's a lifesaver, especially if Millie's talking about getting cold. I can promise you, Millie, that if you go sit in that slide behind you and turn that heater buddy on, it'll heat that whole slide, and you'll be sweating.
Yeah.
I have one.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, we have one.
Nice.
Yeah, that was a lifesaver.
Yep.
Well, that's awesome. Well, listen, guys, I appreciate you coming on and giving us the insight to your failures of this season.
Yeah.
Like I posted on your Facebook page, Kyle, this is something that'll make some great fireside stories later on. That's for sure, and make it for some great videos.
Oh yeah, that's the one thing, and I know that James and Millie will concur with this, that when you're doing anything, you're like, where's the camera? First, we got to get the camera. I don't know what's going on.
Well,
but
it really depends on what it is.
We got to get the video. Just like when our grill was on fire, I didn't even think about putting it out. I looked at Ryan and she goes, I'm already on it. And she's grabbing the camera so we can videotape it as my grill's burning to the ground.
We knew it was controlled.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Well, listen, thank you guys. We're going to cut you guys out of here. Then Maureen and Jamie just want to say some closing words here to everybody. But I appreciate you guys coming on, sharing your wisdom, because I tell you, until you live it, you really can't explain it, right?
True story.
Yeah.
So thank you guys. And oh, by the way, if you guys need a truck and you're in Oklahoma, go see James. He can take care of you. He sells Dodge or Jeep, right? James?
Rams,
Jeep.
right? Rams and Jeeps. Yep.
There you go. So go see him. And I tell you, Millie will come over and take a picture of you with her, and she'll autograph your vehicle for you. All righty?
All right, guys.
Yeah.
And if anybody's out, anybody's over there in Leavenworth, Kansas, please do go by the jailhouse and meet with Ryan and Kyle.
We're on good behavior, so we can get visitors here.
Yeah.
So
Just
yeah,
let you know.
so that'd be really nice of y'all. So listen, hey, thank you guys. Appreciate you coming on, and I'm sure we'll catch up with you again soon.
Thank you so much, man. We appreciate it. Love you
Be
guys.
good now. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, how to go ahead and get yourself out of those situations. Now, this gives a whole new light to how things are, and Jamie is raring to go. Right, Jay?
Yep, I won't be camping in that kind of weather.
Right.
What? You guys don't want to try that out?
I'd probably stay in like a cabin.
I don't even know about that.
Well,
Give me the sun and the beach.
The sun and the beach, huh? Well, listen, but seriously, so next Tuesday, we're going to be doing a live right from our camper here at the house. So we're looking forward to that. Jamie will be narrating everything for me that evening, along with Maureen.
You want to say hi to Mama Weiss.
Oh, yeah, Mama Weiss. Are you still in the house? The Weases are here, I think. They were here earlier. And Emily's saying hello. Oh, and they're here. Oh, they are here. Good evening. Well, hey, listen, thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you. And what about Papa Weiss? Is he there? You know, I've got a few bottles back here. I'm sorry I can't share them with you here.
That was Meredith's parents that were at the campground.
Oh, hold on. Did I get it messed up here?
Yeah. It's
Oh,
Landon's
I'm
mother.
sorry. Oops. How stupid of me. But anyway, we'll appreciate you guys watching. Maureen is very looking forward to next Tuesday.
I am, but I've got to make dinner for our son right now.
And we've already have 4 trips planned, and we're going to be doing a whole heck of a lot more. Our thought is we want to be out at least 4 weekends a month.
That's every week.
I was just checking to see if they're paying attention. No, we want to be out at least every other weekend at least. Correct?
Yes, that would be wonderful, but I seriously have to go make dinner.
So listen, we're going to go and continue this as Maureen's cooking show upstairs.
Thank you. Night, everyone.
Take care. So thanks again, and we'll be back at you again next week. Appreciate you stop by and saying hello.